all know just what piracy is. I'll give you 3 seconds to look it up. So where does the story start, one might ask? Well, my troublesome listeners, it all started in 1557, when the Stations Company of London got their hands on a royal charter, yielding a monopoly on the publication of newspapers. Individuals who would violate this charter would be labelled pirates.
Nowadays, piracy is the term used for illegally downloading and/or acquiring movies, music, and last but not least, video games.
First of all, it's much easier to just go on the internet, download something illegally, and having it running within minutes, rather than going to the store, going back home, installing whatever software you bought, occasionally of more than one CD, making it extremely unwieldy.
However, due to the rise of digital distribution services such as Steam and Netflix, it is easy to not only download pieces of software legally, but stream movies and songs without having to wait for them to finish downloading.
Many pirates have all kinds of excuses to justify their methods, such as downloading video games out of protest against anti-piracy measures, DRM.
DRM is essentially just a piece of software copyright holders can use to restrict the illegal access people have to their products. Examples include CD keys, a series of characters usually printed on the back of a game's manual, which have to be entered during installation, account-bound products, and DRM that requires you to be permanently connected to their servers.
The reason DRM is such an issue among consumers is that pirates will avoid it anyway. It might take them an extra few days to crack it, but they always do. Legitimate consumers, on the other hand, have more and more barriers between them and their newly obtained game.
Pirating the game for those reasons, however, is not the ideal solution. Even though you might be voting with your wallet, you're still telling the publisher you like their game, and you're still spreading it via word of mouth. Not only that, you'll also just provoke them to use even heavier DRM for their next game. If you want them to stop, just voice your opinion and flat out refuse to play their game. Another big one, perhaps the biggest of them all, is of course money. However, if you have the money to own a computer able to run the latest games, it's likely you also have the money to buy the occasional game.
Think of the children. Many kids play on their parents' computer and simply don't have the money to buy all those expensive games. And with little allowance they get, $60 is a lot more for them than it is for you. They keep on counting their pennies, so they at least have €1 with which they can buy at least 25 lollipops, and that is a lot. For those of you who thought piracy was just common theft, we've produced this professional looking illustration. Up here you see that when a physical good is stolen from a retail store, the publisher actually loses said product. In the case of piracy, as demonstrated here, the original copy is still in the hands of the publisher, thus nothing of actual value is lost. Not only is it not theft, it's not even a lost sale. Most pirates would not have bought the game regardless if they had been able to pirate it or not. Add to that the amount of people who pirate because they want to try and see if the game works in their system, and you have substantially lower amounts of lost sales. In this new and improved professionally made looking graph, you can see just how the various actors interact with each other. On the left half, you can see how the consumer wants to give money to the artist, but ends up funding the corporate middleman, in this case the publisher. The publisher and the artist both depend on and hurt each other. The artist needs funding, the publisher needs artistic works to publish, however, there are always conflicts in terms of copyright issues. The government tries to help the publisher with copyright laws and bills like SOPA, to give them more means to use against pirates, but in doing this, hurts freedom of individual artists. The government tries to hurt pirates by imposing laws on them, but as mentioned earlier, this never really works. Pirates hurt the publisher directly by not giving them money, and the artist indirectly, because he might not get another project from the publisher if his last one did not sell well. The consumer is hurt by all this because he wants the greatest variety in products, and with a lack of funding, these can't be made. Now that you know all the important facts about piracy, it's your turn to think of your own conclusion. Is piracy really that bad? Or does it have some good purposes as well?